I'm Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Lange und Söhne Lange 31 in 18 karat pink gold. You can see this member of the Saxonia family and its 31-day power reserve on our website. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included, extra high resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch is 46 millimeters across the round of the case, not including the crown or the pusher corrector for the outsized date, 16.5 millimeters thick, but it actually wears far thinner thanks to a caseback that allows it to nestle into the wrist when buckled down, and a generously sloped domed bezel. You can actually easily clear most sport jacket or blazer sleeves, and it can even fit under some dress cuffs. It's a Houdini act that's unique to the discussion of the case shape and the bezel form. Now you can also see that from lug to lug, 54.5 millimeters, the watch does have a broad span across the wrist. However, I feel that with the security of that sunken caseback and the simplicity of a strap that pulls straight down around the sides of a smaller wrist, you can wear this watch securely on a wrist down to as small as 15 centimeters. What you can't forget, though, is that it is massive. This may be one of the heaviest watch heads I've ever experienced. I can't even imagine what the platinum version is like. In the hand, the watch feels like an absolute brick of precious metal, and on the wrist, the watch almost becomes an impromptu weight program for whichever arm it's strapped to. Now, it features a very handsome case with that cupped caseback. Again, it's a little bit of a styling trick because it's so recessed from the case flank that once it's on the skin and the flexibility of the skin allows the watch to sink down, you're effectively looking at a watch that appears to be only this thick, more like 13 or 12.5 millimeters than the 16.5 of the full watch. And also, the watch does anchor itself on the skin because it sinks in a little bit, so it doesn't have a tendency to wander about, even as heavy as it is. Now, the strap is a beautiful but fairly conventional rectangular scale brown monotone stitch alligator leather. It's got a little bit of bolstering, but not an excessive amount, and a supple calfskin on the bottom. It's paired with a rather simple but thoughtfully designed Lange und Söhne pin buckle, and you can see the retaining bar inside. So if you do have a smaller wrist like mine and you have to really cinch it down on one of the last perforations in the opposite side of the strap, it won't get pinned and stuck on your wrist. That's what the retaining bar allows. It allows you to easily remove the strap no matter how tightly you buckle it. The watch itself is surprisingly simple on the dial side. Now you can see all applied indices, baton indices, so distinct from the Richard Lange's or the 1815s. This is indicative of the Saxonia family, and you can see that the hands at center are immense but elegant alpha style with a foy style or leaf hand for the power reserve of 31 days and a baton hand for the constant seconds at 6 o'clock. Now it does feature Lange's trademark outsized date, double digit. It's actually an original Jaeger-LeCoultre patent handed to sister firm Lange when it was reestablished as a watchmaker in the early 90s, and it's easily corrected using this pusher at 10 o'clock. Now the dial itself is a satin finish, so it's not directional. It doesn't have a grain to it. It glows lightly in any light. It doesn't ever become brilliant or shiny like a sunburst can, and it fits the understated character of the manufacturer. Now there is a countersink for the sub-seconds at 6 o'clock and a etched sort of recess for the 31-day power reserve, which features 2-day increments around its circumference, and of course all of the indices, the hands, and the aperture frame for the date, 18 karat rose gold. Turn the watch over and you see the business end of the Lange 31. Now entirely in what's known as nickel copper zinc, or informally German silver. It's unplated, so it has that honey tone to it thanks to the inclusion of copper. It's in contrast to the rhodium plated brass frequently used on Swiss watches. This is German, but it's even distinct from most German watches in that it features a winding key insert that allows you to turn the twin mainspring barrels, each one 25 millimeters across. The mainspring barrels in this watch are the size of an ETA 2892 movement. Moreover, they contain 3.7 meters of mainspring. When you combine the two of them, an immense amount of power when fully wound, such that the watch must be wound using the ratcheting key that's included in the accessory set and which I should mention is included with this watch when you buy it from us. Now, it operates at 3 Hertz or 21,600 vibrations per hour, so it has a nice intermediate beat rate between the most traditional 18,000 and the more modern 28.8 rates. You can see the watch features one more refinement shared with the Zeitwerk and the Terra Luna, and that's a constant force escapement by means of a remontoir spring. Every 10 seconds, a second hairspring adjacent to the balance is energized by the mainspring in the drivetrain, so although long mainsprings have a tendency to wander in their torque output over the duration of their power reserve, the constant force system ensures that the same amount of force is meted out to the balance on the 31st day of power reserve as on the first. Now, the watch features all of the conventions of Lange's watchmaking tradition, which has really helped to set the pace and establish what German watch finishing conventions are in the modern era. That starts with the German silver or the nickel copper bridges. It continues with the three-quarter style of the bridge itself, a reference to the great days of Lange pocket watches, and it continues with the hand-engraved balance cock of the watch, each one distinctive to the artisan who actually engraved it. Now, there are beautiful heat-oxidized blued screws, black polish on the swan's neck regulator of the balance, as well as the escape wheel cock cap, and several screws that actually perform a different role than those used to assemble the movement, including, and you can just see underneath my thumb, the polished head of the case clamp screw. This is an immensely complicated, handmade 62 jewel movement. Wind it up once a month and then forget about it. This is a rich dessert, but given the proportions and the portions, you won't be left wanting seconds. You can see and you can purchase this Lange 31 on our website.